The world before 2020 feels distant, a forgotten era. We were swept away by routines, obligations, and the relentless pace of modern life. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. We were on autopilot, rarely pausing to appreciate the mundane normalcy of it all. Globalization had shrunk the planet. We could be in Tokyo for breakfast, London for lunch, and New York for dinner, all while staying connected through a device in our pockets. The world seemed to be accelerating, driven by technological advancements, economic growth, and an insatiable hunger for more. We took for granted the simple pleasures, a handshake, a hug, a crowded concert. We were oblivious to the fragility of our interconnected world, unaware of the microscopic threat lurking on the horizon. Then COVID-19 arrived, and everything changed. The initial shock was visceral, a collective gasp echoing across the globe. Borders slammed shut, cities became ghost towns, and the familiar hum of daily life was replaced by an eerie silence. The virus, invisible to the naked eye, held the world hostage. Lockdowns, once unthinkable, became the new normal. Schools and businesses shuttered, sending millions home to grapple with the uncertainty. The economic impact was swift and brutal, with industries crippled overnight and unemployment rates skyrocketing. Fear and anxiety permeated every aspect of life. We were bombarded with news of rising case numbers, overwhelmed hospitals, and a growing death toll. The pandemic, once a distant threat, had become a terrifying reality. Amidst the chaos, a technological revolution was unfolding. The necessity for social distancing forced businesses and educational institutions to embrace remote work and digital learning platforms. Zoom calls replaced boardroom meetings, and virtual classrooms became the new norm. This forced experiment in remote work challenged long-held assumptions about productivity and work-life balance. For some, it offered flexibility and autonomy, breaking free from the confines of the traditional office. For others, it blurred the lines between work and home life, leading to burnout and isolation. Education, too, underwent a rapid transformation. Teachers adapted to online platforms, and students navigated the challenges of remote learning. This shift highlighted existing inequalities in access to technology and support, underscoring the digital divide that separates the haves and have-nots. Section 4. The social fabric, connection, and isolation. The pandemic's impact on our social lives was profound. Physical distancing measures forced us to reevaluate how we connect with others. Social media platforms became lifelines, allowing us to stay in touch with loved ones, share news, and combat feelings of isolation. However, this increased reliance on digital communication also had its downsides. Misinformation spread like wildfire, fueling fear and polarization. Zoom fatigue set in, and the lack of physical interaction took a toll on our mental well-being. The pandemic also exposed and exacerbated existing social inequalities. Healthcare disparities became glaringly apparent, disproportionately impacting marginalized communities. The economic fallout hit vulnerable populations the hardest, widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Section 5. A new world. Adapting to the unforeseen. As we emerge from the shadow of the pandemic, the world looks vastly different. The virus has left an indelible mark, accelerating trends that were already underway and revealing the vulnerabilities of our interconnected world. The future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: there is no going back to the way things were. The post-pandemic world presents both challenges and opportunities. We must address the widening social and economic inequalities, bridge the digital divide, and build more resilient healthcare systems. We must also learn from the lessons of the pandemic, embracing flexibility, collaboration, and innovation. The COVID-19 pandemic was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of our shared humanity and the fragility of our world. As we move forward, we must do so with greater awareness, compassion, and a renewed commitment to building a more equitable and sustainable future for all.